Hey y'all, welcome back to InDFlix. If you've been following Love Island Games Season 2, you know things have been intensifying. In episode 4, we have the first public vote challenge, new vulnerabilities, a bombshell entry, and serious shakeups. In this recap, I'll walk you through the challenge, who was safe, who was exposed, the new pairings, and what's at stake now. Let's dive in. At the end of episode 3, we saw Charlie's exit, bombshells Johnny and Justine entering, and recoupling shifting. The majority voted for Kendall to stay, and it could be a good thing and a bad thing. Garby is a very competitive player. She won that first challenge. But they're starting a whole relationship that's blossoming. And remember, America is going to have some say in who leaves and who stays. So I think it is beneficial if you are in a couple. Yes, we're good as a team, but for that connection, that's what America falls in love with. They want to see someone who actually look like, okay, they get along together. This could potentially be some type of relationship. And I think Kendall and Garby are on the same page of exploring that. Now, to my surprise, Chris is actually expressing a little bit of feelings for KK. And remember, Chris was all game talk. He's here for the win. KK could do her own thing, but I think she's starting to grow on him. In my opinion, though, and y'all can agree or disagree with me, I somewhat don't fully believe that he has any type of romantic attraction to her. You could just tell, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't give that. Again, we only see what they show us, but in the scenes that we do see them in, it doesn't seem like it's there. I don't know. I keep saying in all my recaps so far with the Love Island games, he was just in the villa 2 months ago dealing with what he had to deal with. So I can understand that to a point. But I think he needs to really keep it real with KK and let her know, like, look, I'm here for one thing and one thing only. Like, I don't even think he would even allow a chance for it to grow into something more than just gameplay, And if that's the case, let her be. Let her find what she wants, because she shared with him what her true intention was. Yes, she wants the money, but she does want a man. Another interesting conversation happened between Johnny and Tariq. And I kind of feel like a conversation was going to be had because, Tariq was paired up with Andreina, and now she came back. She's recoupled with Johnny after them winning their duel. And clearly sparks have flown. Her confidence kind of went back up after winning that duel with him. And Tariq is noticing it. And I think, honestly, now he says that he wanted her to come back. In my opinion, I don't see it. I think he wouldn't been upset if she was going home, honestly. And apparently he already knew that Johnny and Andreina had something going on. So maybe she disclosed that information to him, and we just didn't see it. But I guess that secret that him, Andreina, and Johnny were trying to have may not be a secret after all. If Tariq knows, I'm sure he gonna run his mouth. But he's fine with Johnny exploring that, them being partners. I don't, in my opinion, think he's going to try to pursue anything further with her now that he has eyes on KK. And Tariq ain't trying to be settled down so early. So, but Johnny is another one. Like, I hope, if he is, very honest about his feelings towards her, that he's intentional with it and stays focused. Stays focused. We know he's a game player. We've seen him in 2 seasons. He was very, strategic. He was tough competition. So, hopefully the love aspect may fall into Andrina's lap with Johnny. Tariq wasn't done with his conversation with just Johnny. He also has a conversation with Chris and basically tells Chris, yo, me and KK kissed. We was in the bathroom. We made out, whatever. And, he wanted to tell Chris just so it came from his mouth. Now, do I necessarily think Tariq should have been the one? No, I think KK should have shared that with him. But In my opinion, does he even really need to know? Cause ain't nothing has been declared between Chris or KK. Chris has not come out his mouth talking about KK, I want to pursue you, and this, that, and the third. And vice versa. He literally told that girl she can go do what she wanted to do. So I don't even think a conversation was needed to begin with. And mind y'all, this is what, day 2, day 3? Like right now, y'all are just teammates. Y'all not even a real couple. So, child, he told Chris, and literally it sucks because it was all in one night, and Chris just expressed some type of feelings towards her. So of course, you know how Chris gonna do. He gonna get in bed mad, his back turned. He don't want to cuddle. Like that conversation never really, ever happened. Um, and poor KK don't know what's going on. Again, she didn't have that chance to say anything, but when was she had the opportunity to say it? And again, I don't feel like she needed to. I don't know. How do y'all feel about Tariq telling Chris about him and KK's kiss, and even if Chris should be even given that information this so early on in the game? And just like the typical game of telephone, Chris also tells Andrina that Tariq and KK shared a kiss. Now, the thing that does suck, I get it. Like Chris, Tariq told you, I wish in that moment you would have asked him, like, well, does Andrina know? So then you could have at least given him or KK the opportunity to let her know. But what does really suck is the night that Tariq kissed KK was the night, Andrina was like basically pouring her heart out to Tariq and how she was upset about the whole, being put up for the duel and losing and all that. So, the timing of the kiss, yes. Was it, could perhaps be wrong? Sure. But Chris, you go, it's just stirring up drama. Like we're at the game of telephone, yes, it's true, but like Chris doesn't know what transpired that night with Andrina and Tariq. So I don't think it was his place to even say anything. So Kendall and Garby had a conversation and just trying to get to know each other. Obviously they think that with these challenges, you're going to have to know more and more about your partner. And of course, freaky behind Kendall's question is, what's her favorite sex position? Out of all the questions, when's your birthday? Where'd you grow up? Did you play any sports in school? That's his question. And she shares, she doesn't really have much sex, and come to find out she's a virgin. And I commend her because a lot of people, especially grown adults, kind of like to be subtle about that, their sexual history, or none of. So I think that was bold of her to bring that up, of course, on television, but of course to this new guy too. And I think Kendall's reaction was very mature. Wanting to know, the reason, the whys behind it, why someone's made that decision instead of judging them. So his question, yes, was annoying as I don't know what, but he did gain a couple cool points for me for just how he responded to her and being there for her. And I felt like she felt another level of comfortability with him after that conversation. Tariq has a conversation with Lucinda about his current connection or lack of with Andrina. And basically he admits he's taken a whole 180 and he's off her. And I knew that was going to happen. I knew that physical connection that they had was going to fade away sooner or later because that's all it was given. He slid in Shorty's DMs, before even meeting each other. So obviously you slid in her DMs not for, most likely because of who she is, because we didn't really see much, in my opinion, of her personality on her season. But she looked good. She bad. We all know she bad. And he's looking more towards KK. So that validated things. And then Lucinda drops a bomb on him, telling him, you do know Andrina and Johnny kissed during their date, and this was information he wasn't aware of. So he didn't get a chance to tell Andrina about his kiss with KK, and Andrina didn't tell him about her kiss with Johnny. So the way that unfolds is just crazy. Next, we have Isaiah and Nicola. Now, I really like Nicola. I like her personality. I like her vibe. Love her accent. I think she's a really cool girl. And she's very confident. I love how she plays in these challenges. And I think after her win against Charlie and Justine, she's feeling herself, and she feels like her and Isaiah work very well with each other. But unfortunately for my girl, Isaiah breaks it down to her like, I'm not interested in you in that romantic way. There's no romantic attraction there. And it sucks because you could tell in her, like, in her face. And I never watched her season of Love Island, so I don't know how her experience has been. But you could tell, like, bruh, like, friend zoned again. So they are now officially a friendship couple. But hey, maybe she'll explore something with Chris. Because remember, Chris did mention to her that he was interested. That was his number two. So I don't know if he meant that as far as game wise, or if he has some type of physical or romantic attraction towards her. So it is something for her to explore. She does have options. Speaking of Chris, he finally has a sit down with KK about this whole kissing situation with Tariq, and expresses, that he was upset that it wasn't from her mouth, it was from him. She apologized for it, and that he felt like they had a boundary set of communication, and she could do whatever she wants, but just to let him know. No. Am I the only one that was like, no? No, you are not my man. And I'm happy KK said it. She should have said it to his face. She said it in her confessionals. But like, no, why do I have to run and tell you who I'm feeling when we're not nothing? That makes no that makes I don't she don't owe him nothing, like, to that extent. But KK goes back and she agrees to it, and apparently she could have fooled me. She was saying like she would have rather it been Chris that she was kissing and so forth, and she wants him to be more flirty. He said he'll do that, but it's like, girl, like, I feel like we're KK, I feel like we're falling back into our other pattern from how you were during your Love Island season. Like, if a man gonna do it, he gonna do it. Simple as that. You already told this man how you felt, what your intentions are in this game, and he knew that going into it. So I don't know. And at least, Tariq, he's being upfront with you. Like, he's giving you what you're looking for. But I think because Tariq has that playboy look, that's probably why she's hesitant. So we'll see. But I still don't agree with her, updating Chris on who she feel like talking with, kissing with, and none of that. Until he ready to be like, shut it down and be all about her, boy, bye. Tariq and Angelina have their conversation, and Shorty got straight to it. She was like, "So you kiss KK?" And he ain't deny it, which I wouldn't expect him to do. He's like, "Yeah, I did." Obviously she said she felt like it was weird that he did it that literally that night after her duel, and losing, and it was just too soon for her. And Tariq just, let her know, like, it just happened, but, you also kissed Johnny. And obviously, honestly, in my opinion, um, I, I don't see why she's so, okay, let me take that back. I understand why she's upset, but you're already moving on to the next, sweetheart. Like, I can see if, like, you done lost him and now you paired up with someone you don't have any type of connection with, but you the next day literally was also tonguing Johnny down and then some. So can we really be that upset? And you didn't tell Tariq about that either, in my opinion. But after that conversation, you can clearly tell things are done between these two. Now, this is what I wanted to see. Justine and Chris. Yes, if they pair up, they are going to be a force in this game. I'm telling you now. Justine, we know she is a winner, winner, winner. Chris has been dominating these challenges with the challenge that they've had so far. These two should be on everybody's hit list to want to get out if they pair up together, honestly. And they both are kind of here on the same page. Like, we here for the money. You know what I'm saying? So this makes sense. They had a conversation about it. Obviously, they were a little bit of flirtation back and forth there, but I'm yesing this. If there is a point where America can vote who to be with who, they got my vote for sure. KK has a conversation with Andreina. She winds up telling her about Tariq. You know, Andreina brushes it off like, hey, he was one that was supposed to tell me, but look, good luck. And then KK also has a conversation with Tariq about where they stand and, you know, the attraction that they have. And I'm glad she let him know, like, look, me and you are good, but I don't know how you gonna move if someone who's better than me in challenges comes into the villa and now you want to pair up with them. And rightfully so, because he is kind of moving in that way. Like, we've seen him flip a switch once Andrina wasn't winning. You know what I'm saying? So I think KK has a point, and I'm glad she's keeping, you know, herself guarded. This is a smart strategic move for her. Like, I understand why she doesn't want to let Chris go, you know, too far away and rely strictly on Tariq, because Tariq can probably switch up. But unbeknownst to her, she don't know Chris also may switch up on her and pick another partner too. So I think she needs to have that same energy for both of them. So with Charlie leaving, it left things uneven and we needed another guy. So they brought in Toby from Love Island UK into the Love Games. And I remember him vaguely. I know he's on the same season as Tariq. I think he also had like a few bits of drama during his season. But he came in swinging. He got the option to select any girl that was standing up there. And he picked Andrea. And she was not happy. Poor Josh wasn't happy either, because they are just trying to be together in the game and relationship, and here comes another hurdle. And she's been with, this will now be her third person that she's been paired up with, that she has to either try to get to know and play with. So I do feel bad for her, but hey, this is the game, girl, and it don't hurt that you a hot commodity. So, and Justine is now paired up with Josh, but apparently they had a friendship. So this may work in their favor too when it comes to challenges and playing really well together. So I honestly obviously don't see anything emotional, romantic going on between Justine and Josh. He is all about Andrea. Now it's finally challenge time, now that we have our recouplings. And it's called Playing the Field. The Islanders basically were split into two heats, each with four couples. The boys, they basically helped the girls carry like flirt fuel in their helmets across a tire layout, and they had to dump it into the goalpost. So the quickest couple to fill up their goalpost won that. And then there was another one where the girls navigated an obstacle and also had to still fill their fuel into the goalpost, and they could win that too. So the couples were ranked by combined performance, and the lowest scoring couples will be exposed to the public vote. The winners for our first heat was KK and Chris, and Garby and Kendall. So they are safe from the public's vote. And the winners for the second heat was Solene and Mert, and also Justine and Josh. So they will stay away from the public's vote. And, you know, all the other Islanders will obviously have to be voted by America of which couple should go. But overall, KK and Chris won, and they were left in a tough decision. They had to figure out which couple they wanted to also be put up to face America's vote. They selected Solene and Mert, and my girl Solene, as spicy as she is, I knew she was going to do and say what she was going to say. She wasn't happy, and I get it. But out of all of the couples that are there, I guess it makes sense. You know, obviously KK. She probably has, a bigger connection with Garby and Kendall, and then possibly, Chris having a connection with Chris and Josh. And I don't know. I really don't understand it too much, but somebody had to get picked. It does suck because, we did see in the last episode, Solene and KK, kind of confiding in each other. So she probably did feel like KK had her back, but this is why you have to form alliances to keep yourself safe. So now they are no longer safe from the America's vote. They are also up for elimination. All right, that was episode 4 of Love Island Games season 2. Public vote is here, power shifts, the villa numbers are changing, and the pressure is mounting. What surprised you most this episode? Do you think KK and Chris will stay safe, or will someone knock them off? Drop your predictions and reactions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe to InDFlix so you don't miss episode 5 recap. I'll see you soon.